This FWT Live broadcast of the 2013 Formula Kart Productions Florida Winter Tour is presented exclusively by Ocala Grand Prix. Check them out online at ocalagrandprix.com. We'll keep our eye on this again. A smaller field here this weekend, but again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 world championships represented in this one class alone, ladies and gentlemen. Very strong field of drivers here in DD2 Masters. They make their way down toward the lights. And we are racing. And Campbell with a good solid result. Morgado follows him through. Oh, and up into third, I believe that is, yes, Manetti. So Manetti with a good solid run. We're currently in the third spot. He got pushed out again. The outside starting position is not the best here. Manetti able to hang on to third, though. So Campbell in the black driver's suit leads. The green and yellow of the South African colors of Cristiano Morgado in the second spot. And then the third spot belonging to the Florida Winter Tour champion, that is Alan Rudolph in the third spot. That red number 1 indicating he is the reigning Florida Winter Tour champion. Went to the Grand Finals in Portimao, Portugal last November to represent Team USA. He was elected the team captain there in Portimao. Very accomplished driver here in the United States, Alan Rudolph in third. The world champion Morgado with pressure on the 2010 world champion Scott Campbell has wanted this for the entire Winter Tour. He has not been able to pull it off yet. And with 21 laps to go, he's got a lot of pressure from the world champion in second. And here comes Alan Rudolph. This is going to be a three-way battle for the lead here in a minute as Alan Rudolph is reeling in our front two. Rudolph with pressure from Alessandro Manetti, the two-time CIK world champion, putting pressure on the driver from the United States. Looks like we're going to have a four-way battle for the lead here pretty soon as we make our way through lap number 3 in DD2 Master. Okay, Manetti down the inside on Rudolph. Rudolph just let him in. Rudolph was going to fight that, but it's early in the race to take that big a risk, in my opinion. And Rudolph relinquishes the position to Manetti with a strong move from the Italian down the inside. We'll see now if Manetti's got anything for these guys at the front. Manetti has been quick since his debut. He just started driving those DD2 cars about a month ago when the guys from Praga brought Manetti over to the Winter Tour specifically to see what he could do with this DD2 chassis. And he has been quick out of the box, a threat every time, and now putting pressure on Cristiano Morgado for that second spot. Manetti right up under the back bumper of the South African. Those of you watching online, this has been a wonderful group of races. Oh, and we got a problem for Morgado. He makes a mistake down into the hairpin, and Manetti goes by. So Morgado, with an uncharacteristic mistake, almost throws the car away down in turn 5, and that allows Manetti into second. Manetti now trying to chase Campbell for the lead. Temperature here in Ocala around 80 degrees Fahrenheit with an overcast sky, and I've noticed a lot of the drivers are using that radiator flap on these DD2s, so I guess the temperature is right in between their operating range, and we see them close that up and then open it up again in certain sections of the racetrack. Back when I was in the Rotax service business, it was amazing to me how much difference in speed just 5 or 6 degrees in temperature would make in these Rotax engines. And we see these guys reaching over. Once again, we see Morgado changing the flap on the car as he makes his way down the front straight. Manetti now fully engaged with the 2010 world champ Campbell with pressure from the Italian. So let's see, right there in that front 3 that we're watching online, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 world championships just in those 3 drivers right there. I love saying that. I mean, that is a real honor for me as a racing promoter to say that in those 3 drivers, we have 6 world championships represented, including the reigning world champion. And then right behind him, one of the most prolific champions in the United States, Alan Rudolph, in the 4th spot. Might not have the numbers we wanted, ladies and gentlemen, but we have got the talent, no question about it. And Minetti to the point. Once again, it looked like Scott Campbell washed out in the turn 5, and he tries back down the inside in 7. Minetti not having anything to do with it, though, and he slams the door from the outside. Here we go, Campbell looking up the inside. I think Scott Campbell knows he's going to have to get it done, as he's got now a 4-way battle for the lead. We get a pointed black flag from the flag. No, forgive me, that's a halfway sign. So halfway from our flagman, Matt Mays. And we've got a great race in DD2 Masters. Minetti now opening a slight gap over Scott Campbell. Campbell about 2 car lengths back, and then right about a half a car length behind him is Morgado in 3rd. Then about maybe 1.5 car lengths back from there is Alan Rudolph in this 4th spot. Rudolph, I know, was disappointed with his results at the Grand Finals, although a top 10 finish at the Grand Finals for anybody else would be considered a huge success. But Alan, always trying to be a champion, was really wanting the win there. Was not to be in 2012. However, he is already qualified. He is the reigning champion now, not only of the Florida Winter Tour in 2012, he's now the reigning champion of the 2013 Challenge of the Americas in DD2 Masters. So Alan Rudolph already securing a spot to go to the Rotax Grand Finals in New Orleans in November. Speaking of the Grand Finals, ladies and gentlemen, as I talked to you all in both of the drivers' meetings yesterday, do not miss that event. The first time ever for the Grand Finals here in the United States. I've had the pleasure of being at 5 Grand Finals, and I'm telling you, there is no motorsports event on the planet like it. Come to New Orleans in November. You do not want to miss this huge opportunity as the Grand Finals come to the United States. So the battle settles down a little bit at the front as Minetti slowly inches away from Campbell, but Campbell still with pressure from Morgado. Morgado in 3rd, about 1 car length behind the Canadian. Scott Campbell, the most prolific participant at the Rotax Grand Finals, 9 times has been a participant at the Grand Finals, winning the world title there in 2010. I think Scott said, because he's got another child on the way and his business is starting to take more and more of his time, he says this may be his swan song in kart racing. I'll believe it when I see it. As my friend Renee Martinelli, who keeps coming back in this particular category, Renee Martinelli has been racing with us this year. He has retired from karting 4 or 5 times, but cannot get away from the allure of the Rotax Grand Finals. If you've ever been there, ladies and gentlemen, you'll know why. And again, you got to be there in November. It's nothing like it on the planet. Okay, working lap. According to my sheets, working lap 13 of a scheduled 24. We'll take a look here in just a moment. Yep, working now lap 14 of the 24 scheduled, and things have settled down a bit. The closest race on the racetrack right now is for 2nd spot between the Canadian Scott Campbell and the South African Cristiano Morgado. Morgado very close now to Campbell as they make their way into turn 5. Morgado is starting to adopt that outside lean that we've seen drivers start to use in karting. More and more we see drivers using that type of attitude in the car. It was very common in the past that drivers were very rigid in the car, not moving at all, but now we're seeing more and more drivers with a slight lean to the outside, and my understanding of that is that it transfers weight, which frees the car up. So it could be that Morgado has a slight push, as we say here in the United States. An understeer condition in Europe is what they call it, and he may be compensating for that by trying to adjust the weight transfer on the car. But again, I'm just speculating. One thing's for sure, Manetti is putting it down. The gap last time by 0.90 of a second. The gap this time by 0.942. So Manetti inching away slowly, another few hundredths quicker that lap. Scott Campbell putting down his quickest lap of the race on that lap at 37.234. But the fast lap of the race so far, Alessandro Manetti, 37.127, and he leads it. I just heard, actually that may have been both the cars. I heard a slight backfiring sound, but it could have actually been the ignition cutout on both Campbell and Morgado as they came by the broadcast booth and both made that shift into second. Most of these drivers, at least in DD2 Masters, are shifting to second gear just as they exit the carousel. So they're pulling their top speed down into turn one. For those of you unfamiliar with the category, this is our Rotax DD2. It's called DD2 because that means direct drive, and it's called direct drive because it does not have a chain and sprockets. The axle of this car actually runs directly through the transmission of the car, and yes, this is a 2-speed kart, so that's why it's called the DD2. Direct drive 2-speed, and you can hear the cars shift as they make their way onto the front straight. All right, as the laps wind down, ladies and gentlemen, I am watching Cristiano Morgado start to look racy. And when I say look racy, what I mean is instead of just following Scott Campbell, he's now starting to look inside and outside. Yeah, and I'd say it's pretty clear right now that Morgado's got a pretty significant understeer on that car as he is really starting to show a lot of weight transfer, actually leaning his body out over the side of the seat on the exit of the corners. So Morgado looks to be struggling a bit with a chassis problem, but he is working hard to catch up. So working lap number 24, 2 to go, excuse me, 22, so 2 to go for Manetti. Scott Campbell takes a long look over his shoulder as he knows that Cristiano Morgado is right there. And this has championship contentions, ladies and gentlemen, as Campbell and Manetti are Campbell and Morgado are theoretically close enough together that Campbell could win this thing. But it's going to take a big problem for Cristiano Morgado for that to occur. So these points are valuable to Scott Campbell. I'm sure he would much rather not see the world champion right behind him. I'll tell you some quick shout-outs as our laps wind down here as Manetti makes his way around on the white flag lap to what looks to be a secured win, but the battle behind him continuing. A shout-out from Caroline Robinson to Harry Colton from Chorley, England. In snow-covered Chorley, England, says Caroline Robinson. So shout-out to Harry Colton. And here we go. Manetti takes the win, ladies and gentlemen. The multiple world champion takes the win here in round 5. Coming home second, Scott Campbell. And then Cristiano Morgado, for the first time, is not the winner at the Florida Winter Tour in the final. A shout out to Brian Lockwood and Rotax Jr. from his fans in Tallahassee and Panama City. Go, Brian, go. At least I'm assuming that's Panama City. Maybe it is Panama. Look at that. Alan Rudolph pulling up next to Manetti offering congratulations. That's a class act right there. All of those guys, in fact, offering him congratulations. Getting to come to the Florida Winter Tour for many years, and I'm very happy to say he's done so. He's had a win here at the Florida Winter Tour now, coming home second in the final. Scott Campbell is with us here. Scott. 2010 world champion there, Scotty Campbell. And this young man knows a few things about world championships. He's raced an awfully lot of different kinds of karts. He's raced single speed, direct drive. He's raced shifter karts, and now he's raced DD2s, and he's raced it to a win at the Florida Winter Tour. Alessandro Manetti is your winner. First off, congratulations, young man.
Thank you very much.
A good run for you, no doubt. Tell me a little your impression of DD2.
I like very much. I already said it the last time in Homestead. It was the first time for me, the first race. It's glad for me to be here. I like DD2.
Very good, young man. Who is helping you this weekend? I know there's a team here with you, and tell us who it is that's helping you to the win.
I would like to thank Marco Di Leo for his support he gave me for come here. My mechanic Josh Art. He made a great job together with me, of course, and my motorist, Nigel.
Very good, and congratulations, sir, on your win. Alessandro Manetti joining us here at the Winter Tour, and the double world champion brings home a win here on the 5th round of the Florida Winter Tour. Again, ladies and gentlemen, your DD2 Masters, Cristiano Morgado, Scott Campbell, and Alessandro Manetti. And thank you again to Robert Gumpenberger presenting our awards.